Like everyone and their brother, I love My Hero Academia. It's the perfect blend of Eastern superheroes with Western influence that's just so gosh darn tasty. There is one thing that has been racking my brain ever since I got into the anime, however. Not the manga, which I'm avoiding to not spoil my viewing experience. And that's the question whether or not heroes can kill. Up to this point in the anime, this subject hasn't been directly addressed. However, we do see Endeavor roast Anomu, probably killing it, come to understand the limitations of heroes after the Stain arc, and the implication that All Might tried to kill All For One long ago, although this could very well be All For One trying to get into All Might's head. These three pieces paint an interesting picture for My Hero Academia's world, and gives us barely enough information to work with, but just enough to argue over. I reached out to a few of my friends who read the manga and asked if the question on killing had been directly addressed, as in explained proper like the limitations of heroes in Season 2. Each of them said no, but then proceeded to give their own answer based upon their interpretation of the world. I then went online and explored several anime and manga based threads touching on the subject. The answers I found weren't definitive and full of interpretations like my friends. So to objectively address the first part of this video's title, there's no official answer to the question on whether or not heroes can kill. However, judging from what we've seen already, a few more speculative answers can be formed. First off, based upon the limitations of heroes in Season 2, killing is simply put a no-go, and is only acceptable if a villain's death was caused by an accident outside of the hero's control. Man, that actually makes me think of Hot Fuzz. What backs this up is the Chief of Police's explanation that quirks are highly regulated so they don't become used as weapons, and that uncertified heroes can't use their powers for harm. I don't really buy this answer due to, in part, Endeavor roasting Anomu, All Might and All For One's history, as well as just general self-defense laws which are admittedly probably different in Japan. What I find more likely is the second answer I see floating around within most people's collective consciousness, that being heroes can kill, but only under extreme circumstances. If there's a truly evil supervillain, like All For One, or a rampaging monster like Anomu, it is acceptable for a hero to kill. In a similar vein to a police officer, I'd imagine a hero is quote-unquote allowed to kill if the situation is desperate enough to warrant it. However, in My Hero Academia, heroes are strictly speaking not police, so it's possible that isn't the case. Now, why is the question can heroes kill so important? Why is it something myself and other fans spend time talking about? One part of that answer comes down to how detailed My Hero Academia's world is. Where do the students get their costumes and gadgets? Boom, from the support students. Where do the people the cast have to save during their tests come from? Boom, there's a whole industry for that. There's a lot of thought put into the setting, a lot of thought that fleshes out details the Western comics which helped inspire My Hero Academia ignore or don't touch on all that often. When you take those facts into account, it becomes rather odd My Hero Academia doesn't have an official answer for the question, can heroes kill? Especially when you consider how important said question is within the realm of Western superhero comics. Whole heroes are often defined by their approach to this question, be it Batman and his no-kill rule, or the Punisher mowing down every mobster in sight like Charles Bronson, minus the mustache. Another thing that makes the exclusion of this answer so strange comes down to My Hero Academia's tone and approach. Unlike One Punch Man, which is a parody of superhero comics centered around Saitama's depression at being too powerful, or Tiger and Bunny, which focuses a bit more on the financial logistics of its world, My Hero Academia is more or less a superhero drama. Its main focus is upon its characters, their views and reasons for becoming heroes, as well as their gradual development and change as the story progresses. It's like Spider-Man, X-Men, or Teen Titans. Yes, the series very clearly has action and that's a heavy focus. However, it's paired up with more human elements, the struggles that come with being a hero. It seems like the perfect subject matter for the series to tackle because it's something very, well, real. Most of the students in Class 1A want to become heroes so they can save lives. How do you think they'd react if they truly realized, that their line of work may involve taking them? How do you think they'd react if they were forced to come to terms with a rather complicated question? Should heroes kill. Imagine being Ida, who I probably butchered the name of, a man who almost lost his life to a killer, a man whose brother can no longer be a hero because of Stain. Assuming, of course, heroes can kill under extreme circumstances, how do you think Ida would react to this realization? Ida. It's probably Ida. Personally, I don't think he'd take it too well and would swear to never take a life no matter what, due to everything that's happened to him thus far. We've seen that he's become even more of a stickler for the rules during the attempt to rescue Bakugo. What the fuck?
Fuck you!
To rescue Bakugo, so I don't think this would be much of a stretch. Imagine being All Might, Aizawa, or any of the teachers at UA, and what it would be like to teach the law surrounding heroes. Killing. It would probably be really tough, especially if the teacher giving the lesson had killed in the past, and hadn't necessarily worked through it. Imagine if said teacher was Aizawa. Would make his sleep deprivation a lot more depressing, wouldn't it? Make no mistake, I'm not advocating for My Hero Academia to get all dark and gritty, not in the slightest. What I'm getting at here is how important the subject of killing often is in the realm of superheroes. Some exceptions do apply. For a series that puts heavy emphasis on the personal drama and toll that comes with being a hero, the question on killing seems like something which would have been brought up by now, because of how much impact it could have upon the characters. I've mentioned some theoreticals already, however those situations aren't the only ones that could happen, not by a long shot. So, branching off of that, I want to wrap this up by asking all of you a question so I could properly demonstrate how the subject of heroes killing would be an impactful thing to bring up. Do you, dear viewer, think Deku will ever kill? That's right lads, my thumbnail wasn't clickbait, we are going there. For a moment, let's examine where the story is at in regards to the anime. The League of Villains exists, and it continues to grow. All for One is in prison after resurfacing, however All Might lost his powers while trying to subdue him. The conflict the series has established is slowly escalating, and it will eventually come to a head, even if the conclusion is far off. Based off of everything that has happened so far, I suspect, as hard to swallow as it is, that All Might will die at some point in the story because he fills both the mentor and father role for Deku. If there's one thing the hero's journey has taught me, it's that those two figures are never long for this world. I suspect his death will mark a major shift in the story's tone and would be a major blow to Deku. I'm of the mindset that My Hero Academia will go down a similar path as Daredevil's Born Again in regards to tone and structure. Deku and the rest of the cast are going to get a lot of crap thrown their way as the story escalates. They're going to endure tremendous loss, and they will eventually hit their lowest points. I suspect Deku's lowest point will be the contemplation of compromising or momentarily putting aside his heroic ideals so he can kill the final evil big bad, be it All for One or Shigaraki or someone we haven't seen yet. Characters who I'd imagine are responsible for All Might's death. It would be a thought that weighs heavily upon young Midoriya's mind for a long time, and would be used to explore sides of the character we as viewers haven't yet seen. Basically, the darker the story gets, the darker Deku's thoughts get, the more prevalent questions on the morality of heroes killing become. So, would Deku kill, especially if the story goes down the route I'm thinking? Probably not. No, I can't imagine him doing so. Deku doesn't strike me as a killer. He's got a good heart and an even stronger will. Well then, why ask the question? Why have all the setup? What's the point? I hear some of you say. The point, very simply, is the setup. Or rather, the moment-to-moment beats that follow Deku trying to find his answer to a difficult question. The point is the personal toll, conflict, and drama that comes with being a hero. How will Deku change as a person with his world falling apart around him? Will he change for the worse and actually kill the big bad at the end? Or will he rise to the occasion, be born again, and spare the villain's life, thus becoming the world's greatest hero? That drama and payoff, at least for me, is the reason which makes the question, can heroes kill in My Hero Academia, so important. Because once the story has answered whether or not heroes can kill, then the characters themselves begin to ask if they should kill. This in turn leads viewers into wondering if their heroes will kill, especially if the story escalates and gradually gets darker as shonen tends to do. The personal motivation behind a hero's stance on killing is an integral part of Western comics, something which My Hero Academia is inspired by, at least to an extent. So I have no doubt it will appear one day, especially when you consider how well thought out the world is. Having said that though, the moment you open that can of worms is the moment the story takes a darker, albeit subtle, turn. It's a heavy subject matter that Class 1A is most likely going to have to come to terms with, especially if the threat posed by the League of Villains keeps escalating, especially if, like I theorize, All Might is killed. I love the goofy, happy, feel-good epic storytelling the series has going on right now, and I hope it stays a while longer. However, I can't help but wonder, can heroes kill in My Hero Academia's setting, because things keep getting more intense every season. Something really bad is bound to happen. I love how the characters are right now, and I want to see them stay that way a bit longer. However, I can't shake this feeling we're going to see a lot of them change in substantial ways, perhaps in the near future. I guess what I'm getting at here is this. The moment we get a proper answer to the question, can heroes kill, is the moment that marks a shift in the story. Though I'm looking forward to it, I hope it doesn't come too soon. But, having said that, I've been Bufar191, and before signing off, I want to apologize for how I sound. Allergies are still kind of kicking my ass. However, I hope you've all enjoyed this video. I'll see all you guys next time. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Goodbye.